Balancing a video game is pretty hard work, especially when you're doing something like Mario Party's 1 vs. 3 minigames. When one player lands on a square, or perhaps better a circle, I should say, that's of a different color than the other 3 players in Mario Party, they end up in a 1 vs. 3 minigame. Now these are interesting because sometimes they'll favor one player who's the odd man out, or sometimes they'll favor the 3 players who are on the team. It really depends. But if you play enough Mario Party, you start to see patterns. Like, for instance, there's a few games where the computers can play and a few where they can't. Sometimes the computer players just don't know what they're doing, or sometimes they're too good and they just whoop you. And then you have interesting situations like with this cookie cutter minigame in Mario Party Jamboree. In the cookie cutter game, you end up having one player controlling 3 cookie cutters using different buttons, and the team of 3 controls 3 cookie cutters using 1 button apiece. The weird caveat to this one is the way that they've arranged the cookie cutters for the one odd man out. The odd man out has to control all 3, which wouldn't ordinarily be a problem, but if anybody is playing this game as the odd man out and has played PlayStation anytime recently, they're just going to get confused, because if you look at the cookie cutters, they look like square, triangle, circle. Those buttons would correspond to Y,
X,
and A, respectively. Square, triangle, circle, Y,
X.
A. But the way Nintendo set the controls up in this one, they've ended up reversing it so that the circle cutter is on the equivalent to the square button, which is Y. So anyone who plays PlayStation will end up in a situation like this, where he ends up making too many errors due to the way they laid it out being basically wrong. Whereas a less experienced player who perhaps hasn't really played much PlayStation at all might have no problem as seen here. So sometimes experience can betray you a little bit, even though it overall helps you become a better gamer. Nintendo, why didn't you just arrange these controls correctly? You knew what you were doing here.
Oh my god! ストピッカビチオゲームクリプ先生